Acha ji, assalamu alaikum. Today we have Zeeshan with us. Again, welcome to the channel. अभी से like कर लें क्योंकि पहले बाद में शायद आप भूल जाएंगे. तो ये this video is gonna be about studying in Germany, in particular doing your masters in Germany. और Zeeshan का मैं introduction दे दूं. Zeeshan and I we went to undergrad together in FAST. हमने साथ में पढ़ा था. Zeeshan went on to do great things, contrary to me. ज़ीशान ने पहले काफ़ी साल जॉब की, उसके बाद ज़ीशान ने मास्टर्स किया टेक्निकल यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ म्यूनिक जर्मनी से, और अभी ज़ीशान इज़ वर्किंग एज अ रिसर्चर एंड अ सॉफ्टवेयर इंजीनियर एट हुआवे. तो ज़ीशान से आज हम बात करेंगे कि मास्टर्स में अगर कोई करना चाहता है जर्मनी में तो क्या व्हाट इज़ द पाथ देयर. वील आस्क हिम क्वेश्चंस अबाउट दैट. तो सबसे पहले तो थैंक यू ज़ीशान.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for having me here. And it's
या
really nice to see you after a long time, but it's
या
good. Yeah. Mhm.
Chale Zishan, so we'll get started. So someone wants to study for an MS in Germany, right? A master's degree. Let's start with where they should start. What are like the first steps they should take? And if you can do it in a timeline manner, like when should they
Yeah.
start preparing?
Yeah.
That will be great. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. So basically, the master's admission or studies begin with this decision, a conscious decision in your mind where you select to do a master's for whatever reason after your job, right? So once this decision is done, now the next step is to decide which program, which university, and how to get there. And sometimes I know that personally people feel a barrier towards this because Germany is quite, it's opening up in its culture for bringing in new students to masters. But previously, it has always been, a closed community, I would say, in terms of their language and everything. So this is why what scares some people because if you talk about applying to Canada or, for example, America or other places, people are pretty sure, oh, okay, we'll open the website and something will come up, and Google is the way to go. But for Germany, I don't know why they don't go this path because they fear that that there might be some German language written or something. But I want to clarify, like German websites are even well built, much more well built than the university websites for other countries. And this is majorly because I've personally seen people who are doing a PhD doctorate in just user interfaces for websites, and so yeah, the first step is to go to this website called dad.de, and DAAD. This is the Dashe Academic, organization, and they have a very cool website where you go on top to the menu and you go on international programs. And by the way, it's in English as well, so you can pretty easily read that. And once you click the international study programs, you can select your language, the duration of your program, also the tuition fee, and all these are search criteria that are given. And then you can select search. For example, for computer science, you would go to natural sciences and then click on search and select the degree type as MSc, master's. And so this website dart.de, I guess you should put a link under the video for
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
Would you? Thank you. So that's how you begin your search. That's the first step. That's the first way to go, because then it will show you a list of programs, academic programs, and then you sort through them, you go through them, you see which one suits you. Yeah. So also, I guess the second part of your question was about the timeline of this kind of a process. So I would say that there are two sessions. So the first one is the summer semester, and the second one is the winter semester. The summer one starts around April, and the winter one starts around October. So these are two semesters, and so you can apply to both of them. So German universities are open to taking students into both of them. Yeah.
Okay, so how much in advance from like the starting date of your program, if it is starting in April, for instance,
Yeah.
do you start applying? Like when does the applications open for April
Yeah.
admissions? And what are sort of the requirements if you want to go through them? And follow up to this would be, what is the single most important requirement here? I know there are going to be many requirements. Some of them will be standardized.
Yeah.
But what would be the most important thing that you would want people to remember here?
Yep. So I guess in terms of the most important thing about the requirements of the university, I guess the university needs you to have a bachelor's degree, which completes the 16 years of education. So sometimes, for example, back home in Pakistan, what happens is that people have done their BS in a way that the degree of bachelor's is like 3 years. So then it doesn't complete the 16 years requirement. So here it is considered that the master's is the 17th and 18th year of your education. So it needs your previous programs to be 16 years. So this is not just a yearly requirement, but also that they check the subjects of your university, not to scare people from applying, but your bachelor's must be relevant to the master studies, because in Germany, they take their word very seriously. So when they say that you are going to become a master's in some particular subject, they want to make sure that you at least have the basics already done. And they start with the advanced studies in masters. So particularly, like I was in Dubai for some years, and in Dubai, I saw that some programs, they would, even in masters, they would have some dilute programs like networking or systems engineering, where they would start with the basics in masters. But that's not how it works in Germany. In Germany, the first lectures I took were an advanced machine learning course in my first semester, and that was pretty intense, so intense that I remember that it was hard to pass even after I received like 3 scholarships in my own life, but still I found the first courses hard in masters. So yeah, definitely that's the thing. And what was your first question again?
The first question was, if you want to start studying in April, right? When
Yeah,
do you need to
yeah,
apply for
of
it?
course. So the timeline is very important. So I guess for students who wish to apply, first of all, you need an admission letter. And once you have this letter in your hand, you need to apply for your visa, right? So you have to keep time for both of these. Getting an admission letter takes around at least 4 months. Okay, so why does it take 4 months? Is because the university takes an admission decision. They take 2 months for that, and then all these correspondence happens using postal mail, right? So you send your admission documents and you receive the admission letter back, and all this takes around 2 to 3 months, right? And once you're done with receiving the admission letter, you apply for a student visa. And specifically, I guess we are talking about Pakistani students applying. So in that case, it takes around at least 6 months to get your visa, right? So this timeline varies. Sometimes the German embassy is so busy that it might take even a year for that, but now they have improved it quite a bit, because now they have also introduced a separate path for students, student visas, which means that if you have a GPA which is above, I guess, 3.6, then you can directly be awarded a visa by the embassy. You don't have to wait in the waiting queue. So for students, especially who are, I would say, in the top of their class ranks, there is no waiting time in Pakistani embassy. They can just directly get a visa. That minimizes the time to around even 1 month for the visa, right? But for others, it is still 6 months. The German embassy is working on that. We are all, even in Germany, we are trying to write to the embassy to fasten this process, but still that. So in overall, in sum, it is minimal, around 9 months to 10 to 12 months, overall decision making, thinking about it. So that's what I encourage people who want to apply. Like sometimes, I get a query saying, oh, I'm on a job, but my project is ending next year. So should I apply now, or should I, so to them, I tell, apply as early as you can. You don't need to wait. And even if you get an admission and you're not able to leave your job right then, you can freeze your semester. So German universities offer you the option to pause your semester and join after 6 months. Okay, so they're quite pretty flexible, especially given the COVID situation and everything in the recent times. So this is what I encourage people to do. Start applying 1 year before you want to go for the masters, because sometimes people have the right credentials, they have the right documents, but they are still unable to apply. So I know someone personally who made the application, and right at the deadline time, they clicked on submit, right, with all the right documents and everything. But because the deadline was like 12 at night for a particular date, and when they clicked, after this, the application told them to sign the application as well. So in the signing, they took like 2-3 minutes to scan the printout of the application, sign it, and upload it. So at the very last moment, the system said, because now it's above 12, you need to submit the complete thing in. So then then what do? You wait for the next semester, 3-4 months, right? So to keeping the risk factors there, that something might go wrong, you might miss a deadline, or you might be unaware of something to be submitted. So I would say the overall is an estimated 1 year to. Yeah.
Okay, that's great. Yeah. So I'm going back to where you mentioned like a high GPA is important. Is that the most important requirement you think, other than the TOEFL, sorry, the IELTS that you need? Is that the most important requirement to get you into a good university versus some university that which doesn't have a as good a rating as like a other university? Like, is that the single important thing?
Yeah, so basically, when you say good university and other university in Germany, we have all the universities which are pretty much the same. How this happens is that there is no concept of like private and public. Although we have private universities, but that's usually not the ones you're targeting. Yeah, so you're going for public universities because they are even bigger, they are even better. They have been there for thousands of years. So one of the university that I know in Munich, like LMU, the Ludwig Maximilian Universität in München, that one is where Ilama Iqbal also went to. So he was a philosopher there. And that university has 40 Nobel laureates graduated from one single university. And that's the highest number for any place on earth, right? So what I'm trying to say is that the government universities here are they are the best ones altogether. So no matter which city you go to, nearly all the cities have these public universities, which are very big, and they're all equal in ranks. Okay, so when we say we are trying to get into a good university, what we are actually trying to say is that we are trying to get into one of those universities. And then some people ask me, but there are 1,000 universities, how can I sort which one is the best one? At least some would be better than the others, right? So yeah, the answer is that they have a website in Germany, and this is called TU9, so Technical Universities 9, and it's a list of 9 technical universities which offer the best engineering programs, and it has been specially sorted and curated by the German government for students to not have to filter through thousands of universities, but rather just select the top 9 ones and apply to them. And those universities are also eligible for an international criteria for admission. That means that they offer programs in English language. So you don't have to go very far. You just type in TU9, and that's it. You will be offered a list of 9 best universities. You can select from them, apply to them, and this is how you filter. So when you ask about what is the best criteria for admission, I would say the criteria is mostly that you went to a good comprehensive program in bachelor's, and that's the best criteria. The criteria is not necessarily a good GPA, because I guess as long as you're talented enough, as long as maybe you have a lower GPA, but then you have some years in the industry, so that would cover it up. And then also they give you a chance to sometimes have some supplementary information provided to them which can help them make an admission decision. So the admission decision in Germany is a legal thing, right? So they take it very seriously. So for example, for other countries, the thing is that universities might not give you an admission and you might not be able to question it, but in Germany that's not how it happens. In Germany, once you apply for an admission, the universities must have a concrete reason, or they must face they must be they're able to be challenged, and you can challenge that in court, why the university did not give you an admission. So the universities are very, very particular about rejecting or accepting a student. They give you a very concrete reason, and most of the time, 90% of the time, that reason is resolvable. So for example, sometimes they might say, oh, your application document is missing this, and apply after 3 months. So some of the students are scared and they stop applying, thinking that, oh, the Germans are too hard on us and they didn't accept our application. But to them, I want to say that the Germans care a lot, but they also follow the rules, right? So because they have to make sure that everything is complete. So they might look like the admission criteria is hard, but once you complete all the requirements, then you are guaranteed an admission, which is not in other countries like this. In other countries, the criteria is not as transparent. There might be some lists, and then you are on top of the list or bottom of the list. What besides that? So, but here we have really, really, I would say, specific decision criteria, and they tell you what was missing, and then you can improve upon it.
That's great. Yeah, this is really helpful for people to know. So thanks for providing this context. The next thing I want to ask you, okay, so it seems like an ideal place to study, but how much does it cost for somebody to study, right? Is there any cost associated with it? Like, what is that cost? What is the requirement financially, fiscally, that you need to have? What do you show in your bank account?
Yeah. So Germany is one of the only countries on earth which provides you free education. And what I mean by that is that there is no tuition fee. Okay. So you go to university, you attend lectures for 2 years, you don't pay a single dime to the university, except for a very small fee, which goes towards the sports clubs, for example, or towards your train ticket. So you might pay 100 euros here and there, and that goes towards getting you a semester ticket, which means that you will be riding a train to the university and going. And that ticket actually covers much more than your own city. So you can actually travel outside the city for free in Germany. and train travel here is quite expensive, but they give it for free to students on a subsidized rate. So that 100 euros you have to pay. Otherwise, there is no tuition free. And this is the reason it is one of the most preferable master's degree in the earth right now, because people who don't have that kind of specific some can still study. But the Germans also want to make sure that once you arrive here, you have sufficient proof to be able to sustain yourself, which means that one, you have enough money to eat some good food, and two, you have enough money to live, to pay the rents. They're pretty transparent about it. Germany is not like other countries that they might hide the facts. Okay, in our countries, money is a hush hush thing. How much money for what is very hidden. But in Germany, everything is just right out there. Because I guess they believe that transparency helps the dissemination of information among the masses, and then it can benefit more people, right? So the first thing they tell you is like the rent for the student dorm where you are going to live is around 330, and then there's some living expenses like food, and clothing, and that is also around 330. So how much is that? 660. And then you need some for just spare money. So I guess they multiply that amount, like 700 with 12 or 800 with 12, and whatever the sum is, it's I guess around, it was by the time I applied, it was around 8,400 euros for a year, but now I guess it's more than 10,000. And this is because I guess some cities are becoming very expensive in Germany as the euro goes up, and
So these are all in euros, right?
yeah, these are in euros. So you need to have around 10,000 euros, and you need to send this money. You need to send this money to a blocked account in Germany. And so there is a form on the website for the Deutsche Bank. Deutsche Bank is Germany's largest bank, and Deutsch actually means German. So it's basically the German bank. Okay, so you open a bank account, which is a blocked account in the Deutsche Bank. What does a blocked account mean? Is that a specific sum of money is allowed to be withdrawn every month from your account. So you sent in 10,000 euros, but every month you can only withdraw around 800, 850, or there's a limit to that. Yeah. So I don't want to point at specifics, because I want students to know that these things are relative. They keep changing, first of all. And also, these must not be the first criteria for choosing a master's degree. So once you choose it, you can go into the specifics very easily. A simple Google search will lead to a big number written there. Okay, that's 10,000, but it's around 10,000, I know. Okay. So then the students tell me, oh, so if we have to block like 10,000 euros, that's a lot of money in Pakistani rupees, like around right now, what's the euro rate, like 192, 194 or something. So it's around 19 lakh rupees. So where do they, so how is education free? Then that's I guess the very natural question. But I want to say that, first of all, those 19 lakh rupees don't go to anybody but yourself. You spend on your own food, your own clothing, your own residence. So you know exactly where every single one of those euros goes to. Okay, you don't pay this to the university, you don't pay this to anybody else except for your own pocket. So every month you go to the bank, you walk there, you get those euros, and you put it in your own pocket, not to anybody else, right? So this is a great guarantee that your money is safe. It's not being spent on anything you don't want it to be spent on. It's only spent by you on what you need to live safely in Germany, right? So I guess the idea here is that the Germans want to make sure that you have sufficient money to come here. Okay, and in this case, you can also earn it back. So I think we will come back to that.
That was my next question.
Yeah.
Actually, gonna be, is that money gonna be worth it by the time you end up and your degree, right? Like, you're spending all this money. What does it give you in terms of your career growth? What do you get? And a natural question from there also is, actually, yeah, just answer this first, and then we'll go to the next one.
Yeah, sure. So basically, in terms of what do you get for the value for your investment? Yeah, because I know that when you are trying to join a master's degree, you are at a stage in your life where you're trying to get settled. Some of the people, for example, when I joined masters, I already had a job in Dubai for 3 years. I was getting paid like around 5 lakh rupees. So why should I leave a job paying me 5 lakh rupees to come to Germany and do a master's? Is it worth it? Like, what would it eventually result into? That's a very natural question for many of the people. I guess what it does to you is that it picks you up as a generic engineer, or as a generic bachelor student, a graduate, and converts you into a very finely specialized engineer. Okay, and now this specialization in our country, it's very concrete back in Pakistan for doctors, for example, that they become a heart doctor or an eye doctor. But for other engineering disciplines, the specialization during masters is not as concrete as it is for the doctors. But in Germany, it is the same concrete nature of specialization, even for the engineers. So what that means is, for example, when I did my master's, now I can safely around, when I apply, I tell them, okay, I'm a master's in artificial intelligence. I did that in computer science, but because I know all my subjects were already specialized in artificial intelligence, the course was made in a way to allow me to select and elect and to study all those things that make me a master's in a particular specialization, right? So what it does to you in terms of the non-monetary benefit is that it makes you a specialist in a particular field. And once you're a specialist, we had our teacher in FAST University, Sir Shafiqur Rahman, and he used to say that first you need to gain depth, and then you need to gain breadth. So what that actually means is that first you become a specialist, and then the world would, automatically start recognizing your potential and give you the right opportunities to you. Okay, so this is the case. For example, you have done a PhD, you might already be aware of it, that once you become a specialist, the opportunities open up, right? So masters brings you to that direction. It brings you closer to becoming the master of your own will in the industry. Okay, so after bachelor's, you're afraid of whether you would get a job or not, but after masters, you're not no more. You have options to select from, right? So in that case, when you say what do you get, so I want to say that what you get is independence from the fear of unemployment, because in Germany, after a master's degree in an engineering subject, the employment ratios are very, very high. Okay, so for example, for computer science, I can say that nearly all the people I know from computer science have jobs. So I have never seen a computer science guy who did a master's who was left unemployed. But this might be true for Pakistan as well. But we are now talking about jobs which pay much more than jobs in Dubai, which pay much more than jobs in Pakistan, and which are in a currency which translates to, much more in terms of the monetary benefit in the end. So as far as the amount of investment is concerned, for example, 20,000 euros. So that's 20,000 euros for 2 years, and you earn it back in 4 months. In 4 months in Germany. So the amount you pay, you earn it back in like 4 months, maximum 5 months, and that's it. Like that's why the amount you pay is nothing compared to the amount you earn back after, for example, spending 2-3 years in Germany. And similarly, then we also have these concept of student jobs. Okay, so I would like to ask your next question, and maybe it's relevant, and then we can go from there. Yeah.
Yeah, this is great and great analogy there, that you become a specialist by doing your master's.
Yeah.
This sounds all very good now, right? And anybody who's watching the video right now is like, oh my God, I need to start applying to masters
Yeah.
in Germany. But the Germany comes with German language. So what would you tell them about living? I know the study is going to be in English, but
Yeah.
if you're living in a small town,
Yeah.
do people understand you if you're going around just talking in English? What is the significance of the German language there? Is that a significant barrier? Would you tell people to worry about it or not worry about it?
So basically, I moved here around 2000, the end of 2014. I got an admission October 2014. I was already here, and this is 6 years ago. So 6 years ago, I joined a master's degree in a small town of Freiburg, and at that time in Freiburg, the master's degree was in English. First of all, English language, as well as, so that's 6 years ago, an English master's, and I took subjects in machine learning, in robotics, in artificial intelligence planning, in cognitive systems, and these were all very specialized subjects to AI, and all of them were taught by German teachers who spoke English, right? So if we, being Pakistanis, can live in Pakistan and be well aware of English, I guess the Germans are way ahead of us in terms of their civilization, thousands of years old, already independent, and so they choose to know English eventually, and but then if you ask them a direct question, do you speak English? What they mean is that literally you are asking them, is your mother tongue English? So to that they say no. So to any German, you say, hey, do you speak English? He would say, no, I speak German because I'm German, right? So students take this in the other way. They say, oh, if you ask the German, he would say, no, I don't speak English. But actually, this is because of their logical nature. Their language is made to be very specific. Every single word in their language describes the thing that you're referring to, right? So in our languages, it's different. In our languages, if you say, I like that the dialogue from the PK movie where he says, if you love fish, you mean you want to eat it. You don't love it, you want to eat it, right? So in German, the language is very direct. It means what it means, right? So if you ask a German, do you know English, he would say no. But then you speak English, and he would speak English, right? So that's how it is. Everybody in Germany, in the bigger cities, in Berlin, Munich, Hamburg, all these big cities, they speak English perfectly well. My boss at my company in Huawei, he speaks wonderful English. In fact, I have lived in America myself for some years. Even then, the German guy speaks much better than me, and I'm pretty surprised. But I also did a job in BMW once. But in BMW, there were many German speakers, and they would have meetings in German specifically. But that kind of jobs, they tell you before, that we will be speaking German, and to be honest, once you live in an environment for certain years, you already learn it. But for a master's degree, relevant to this video, for masters, no, you don't need German language, not at all. You always have English specific options, okay? But it's up to you now that you might wanna learn the German language, and then you want to, apply to a German master's program. That's up to you. That's a choice. But in general, you always have an option in English language. I can search and find you masters in finance, accounting, business, computer science, electrical engineering, all of them in English in the best cities around Germany. So no, you don't need German language for a bachelor's program. For a bachelor's degree, it's different. For a bachelor's in Germany, you do need German language, but for a master's, it's very different. For a master's, you don't need at all.
Sounds good. This is great information. Zishan, you painted a very rosy picture, and I know that you come from computer science background, and I know the market not just in Germany, but even in US, anywhere else, it's like hiding. They need more people. They need specialized people in very good discipline. What about somebody who's coming from a different discipline, right? And thinking about doing their masters in Germany? Would you say the same applies over there also? Like the opportunities are the same. There's the same path to a better job than what they have. There's the same path to citizenship and sponsorship for later on, stuff like that.
Yeah. So basically, when we talk about non-computer science paths, of course, the computer science path has much more opportunities. That's because computer science is like engulfing all other fields due to its nature. But that's a separate discussion. Let's see if we can say something about somebody wanting to do a master's in business administration, an MBA. So first of all, in Germany, in Munich, in Technical University of Munich, we have a master's in management, which is free of cost. There is no tuition fee. But in other cities, we have masters in management, which has a tuition fee, right? So what I want to say is that you still have free options for a business management degree in masters, which is a huge thing. In Berlin or in other cities, a master's costs like a lot of money, because MBA programs specifically, they are a mark in your career and they cost a lot. That's how they are. They're more money oriented than engineering degrees, right? But still, I want to tell to those people interested in a management masters or MSc in finance, for example, or accounting or MBA, there are free options within Germany. So then you talk about the career options, right? So definitely, yeah. For example, the best thing about, for example, doing an MBA in Germany, in Munich, for example, is that their programs are tightly integrated with the industry. What that means is that you would be doing your internship plus many of your courses cross-linked with the industry, and that gives you the right contacts in the industry. So many of the friends I know, they graduate with already connections in the industry which are strong enough to guarantee a lifetime of a job within a company. Because in Germany, the standard job contract lasts for a lifetime. They cannot fire you easily, not at all. Okay, so what that means is that once you're in a company, you're doing an internship there, you do 2-3 courses there, you make contacts, get a job, and then it lasts a lifetime. So there is a pretty good chance that even after a management degree in Germany, you wouldn't go back home, you would stay here and do your job. Also, unlike other countries, Germany is very open to having you here. What that means is that they encourage you, even after your studies end, they give you a visa to stay here and search for your job. And this visa usually lasts more than a year. So what that means is that once your studies end, for a year, you can still stay in Germany and search for a job. A year is enough to search a job. 12 months, you can apply to anywhere. And this is an economy where there is a very less unemployment rate. So what that means is that it's very different from other countries where, for example, there is unemployment. What that might mean in another country is that after an MBA, you start sending your resume and just waiting for months and months and months. But chances are in Germany, that's not how it is. Because in Germany, we have a lot of jobs in the industry. Why is that? Because we are a growing economy. Yeah. So, for example, in Munich, when I came to Munich, there was no offices, for example, for Amazon. But now we have the Amazon development offices, engineering offices here. Similarly, the Microsoft Bing search engine is developed here. The Intel mobile communication department that I work for was acquired by Apple itself. So now Apple has a great presence in Munich. So all these companies, Apple, Intel, Microsoft, Google, all these have development engineering offices in Munich. So engineering is the last thing to come to a country. The first ones are the marketing ones, the sales ones, and so having an engineering office here tells me that okay, they also have their sales and marketing and all these offices. And a country like Germany is the capital of Europe, right? In terms of technology, it's the hub of so if you go to the right city and the right country, chances are you are improving a lot of things for yourself. So to those who want to apply to masters, I tell them, please also look around the city. Just don't look at the education the university is providing you, but rather also the environment that it is providing you, right? So if you apply to Munich, look at what companies are there in Munich, because you're gonna go to a master's program, which is significantly for a career move. It's a significant career move in your life. So you want to be sure that you are in an environment which caters to the industry requirements and which provides you the right opportunities.
This is great, Zeeshan. I think we covered a lot in this call, and I think this is good knowledge for somebody who is starting out. Um, and I think if people have questions, they can leave it in the comment section, and we can try and make a follow-up on this. And we are already planning a follow-up for a PhD, sort of focused on PhD, like what do you need to watch over there if you want to do a PhD in Germany. So शुक्रिया Zeeshan, बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया आपका. This was really helpful, I think, for a lot of people. I hope it will be. So thank you again for your time. Anything else you want to add that you might want to add at this point? Go ahead.
So yeah, I want to add that I was in a very stable job in Dubai, and I left it for the pursuit of knowledge. And then I was given a scholarship by the Germans to go to America and study in America. Okay, so what I want to say to people is that once you take that leap of faith, you might as well drown. But if your faith is strong enough, you might as well reach the skies. Okay, should never be afraid of taking a chance in your life. Most of the most successful people were dropouts. They took risks in life. So please, don't be afraid to pursue what your heart wishes, because you have one life, and you want to spend this one life the way you want to.
Great. This is a great message to Zeeshan. Thank you so much. You're so articulate, mashallah. Thank you.